Okay, no strings attached. Um, I'm okay. I'm not gonna say this is one of the worst films I've ever seen, cause it's not. I mean, like, um, I'm just saying before, if you're watching this review, I'm gonna say straight up, I'm not the kind of guy that you'd want to review this movie, cause this is not my kind of movie. I'm not into chick flicks. I'm sorry, but um, so if you want like, if you want a review from a person, maybe you shouldn't try me. Like, I'm only reviewing it for the sake of reviewing it, but I'm gonna flat out say, uh, if you don't like my opinion, don't listen to me, cause, yeah. But anyways, from a viewpoint of a guy who does not like chick flicks, um, this movie was, it wasn't bad. I'm not gonna say it was bad. I mean, like, I was entertained at some bits, but it's just this movie doesn't seem this movie feels like filler. Like, it's the kind of movie to me that feels like I could be watching something better. Because I didn't really see anything that I haven't really seen in any other chick flick. Like, okay, the story here is Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher. They play like friends from childhood. Like, they were at a camp one day, and in the beginning it shows them like they grow apart, then they meet back in college, and they grow apart, and then they come back, they meet together again, and when they're grown-ups, Ashton Kutcher's like, he's working on set of like TV, like, I don't know, I don't really know what he does, but he like, I think he's like an assistant script writer, a screenwriter, and Natalie Portman is a doctor, nurse. I saw this a while ago, so I don't really remember if she was a doctor or nurse. But anyways, um, so they meet up again, and let's see. There was this thing about Ashton Kutcher and his father, and that his father was dating his like Ashton Kutcher's ex-girlfriend. So he goes on like this sort of like mission to get laid, basically, and he ends up like passing out and waking up in Natalie Portman's apartment. And there's this thing where he's changing, and Natalie Portman comes in, and they do it, which confused me because like there was tension. I'll admit there's tension, but it wasn't built up to it didn't really make sense with the scene. So they do it, and then there's some things that happen, and eventually they decide to do this. Like, they decide to keep doing it just to like to get stress off, because Natalie Portman like argues that she needs stress off from her work, so she does it with Ashton Kutcher. So that's the premise of the movie, and what can I say about this? It was, I mean, as a comedy, there were some funny bits. I mean, like, I actually like seeing Cary Elwes in this movie. Like, his role is basically the doctor who he keeps getting like hit on by Natalie Portman, and like he's totally clueless. Like, I thought he was pretty funny. And there's also Natalie Portman's gay roommate, and there's also an Indian roommate who are actually kind of funny. And there's also some other funny gags in there, like, I could go on and on listing some gags that made me laugh, but the main problem with this movie is, there's actually two main problems with this movie. One is that it doesn't really do anything different. I mean, like, the spoilers. Near the end, they get together, and like in the movie, Natalie Portman has a problem with relationships, so that's why she said that they're gonna keep doing it with no strings attached, because she doesn't want to fall in love with she doesn't want him to fall in love with her, and in the end they fall in love. So it's like, that was the most obvious ending they could go with, and that's why I don't really like That's okay. That's one of my problems with this movie. It doesn't feel new. It feels like a rehash of some chick flicks that I watched in the past. And another thing is, there's also like this movie tends to undermine some of the plot elements because there was a plot element they introduced early on in the movie. Like there was a montage of them doing it, and then after that, this doctor guy comes up who's like a potential secondary love interest to Natalie Portman. He comes out as a threat. He comes out as a threat to Ashton Kutcher, and he just disappears throughout the rest of the movie. Like they totally forgot this character, and like the main conflict in this movie was really from um Natalie Portman's desire to not have any feelings for him, feelings for Ashton Kutcher, and that's mainly my main problem with the movie is like all the other plot elements in this movie is kind of underplayed or played for comedy. Like it sounds kind of confusing, but it's like it's just these two characters, so everything else doesn't really seem important. So they could have actually done this whole movie with just Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher. Like, I know it sounds like I know it kind of sounds hard to believe, but it's like all the other character. Okay, here's an example. Here's besides the secondary love interest, there's a secondary love interest to Ashton Kutcher, who's like his boss, and his friends. Like when they break up, the first time they break up, or the first and only time they broke up. Okay, his friends goad him to do it with his boss, and it seems like at first it seems like he's like warming up to the idea, and he actually has her in his house. But then afterwards, it's like he dumps her. I mean, well, he doesn't dump her. He gets a call about his dad, and he has to go to the hospital, so he has to leave her. So that whole storyline where it's like him falling in love with another woman, it doesn't get developed. So like, yeah, I think that's my true main problem with this movie. Like it doesn't develop its side stories fairly well. I mean, it brings them up, then kills them off. And yeah, but aside from my two big problems with this movie, is it bad? It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's not special. I mean, it was okay. And once again, I'm not the person to go to get an opinion of this movie, but my opinion of this movie is I didn't really like it, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.